Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bulhheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week the Texans are returning from their bye week and they're actually going to be going on the road to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars in a Week 5 matchup, which is actually the Texans' first win of the season. So, I get into all of that of what they need to do to get a win and over Jacksonville this weekend. But first, I want to touch on a couple of items that kind of came up over the bye week. And so the first one I want to lead off with is the trade rumors surrounding Will Fuller. So for the first time, like in this calendar year, the Texans were involved with the trade, and it failed, but not because of of Houston's fault. Pretty much it looked like it was coming really down for the wire that Will Fuller was going to get traded on Tuesday. Apparently the Texans might have been asking for like a second round pick, and the Packers, they had people in the organization that was with it, but then they had others that really wasn't with it. And so I wrote about all that mess and what that might lead to, in my other column. But basically, I think, yeah. So basically, it might have, to me, it might have been a good thing for us because we're getting a healthy Will Fuller, for an extended amount of time. So we'll probably be able to see like what he can actually do, how healthy he can really be, and how valuable he can be in the offense. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, from what I've been reading, and so that would probably make it a little bit easier to maybe either sign him or just part ways with him. I was if anything, I think he's considering like our draft status right now as far as like draft capital. I would have liked to see him like get traded so we can get something back in return, but and obviously that's not going to happen. I don't think he'll even be franchise tag. I think he's probably just that. I think the Texans are probably just really going to let him walk, and that's going to be it. Sad to say because he's talented, but like I said, with the injuries and everything, I can see why the Packers are kind of like maybe not for that high, but I can also see why the Texans put that price up because it's like we can. When he's healthy, he's cold and productive, but it's the when he's healthy tag. So we'll see what happens off season. So speaking of off season, JJ Watt, let me see if I can pull this quote up. Has some interesting things. Well, not so much interesting. Like JJ has been mad all season, basically, and rightfully so. I mean, he's been here 10 years. He's seen the down. Actually, when JJ came in, he experienced the ups right away. But he's also seen the downs of this organization and what it's been through as far as like losses. So I'm boring y'all with chatter. But anyway, JJ Watt. So he made some comments the other day about the Texans possibly rebuilding. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so I'm looking at an article, Texans Daily, on Sports Illustrated's page. So here's a couple of things that I just pull up. I don't think it's any secret that I don't have 10 years left in this league, said Watt. I personally believe that I do have a few more great ones left in me. I'm not looking to rebuild. I'm looking to go after a championship. And so pretty much that was some comments that he made the other day. I guess about just the Texans' whole situation right now, and obviously referring to like Houston might be going through like sort of a rebuilding stage. Just bringing in a head coach and general manager. That's going to take a lot. That's going to come with a lot of remodeling, if you will. So, with that being said, his future with the Texans, man, I know a lot. I've seen a lot of fans like just talk about like, well, not a lot. I've seen some. I'll say some. I've seen some fans, just kind of talk about like, damn, maybe it's time for JJ to go. It's the perfect time. And to be honest with you, those comments right there, it makes it look like this is the time for him to get traded. He's still on that big contract. I think it's up next. The last year of his current deal, is up next year, and so he'll be 32 next year, and 33 as a free agent. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect him to get like another big $100 million contract or nothing like that, especially from this team. JJ Watt, he's played his great years, in this city. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, well, we know the reasons, but it just didn't pan out for him, to be in a championship type situation. Every time Texans made the playoffs, bounced in the first round, bounced in the second round, all that good stuff. He's given the city a lot of great moments. He's given them a lot of great years and stuff. Unfortunately, none of those productive seasons have turned into getting a Super Bowl ring or even showing up in a Super Bowl. So, I think regardless, I think this was probably going to come down. I think this was going to come regardless. In this day of, free agents and pretty much, super teams and all this other junk, you knew this had to happen. I mean, he's like he said, he's getting older. He doesn't have 10 years left on him. He's not a quarterback. He's he's a defensive end. Just kind of really just trying to make his way through, trying to finish out the rest of his career the best way he can. And so, a lot of DNs and D linemen, once they hit a certain age, they start leaving one team, bouncing around to other teams, and shit. Who was it? Because Dwight Freeney, yeah. Dwight Freeney, once he left the Colts, he was around a couple of teams. If I'm not mistaken, I probably have to look it up later, but I think he was on that Falcons team. That was 28-3. He might not have been. I'll just have to go back and check. But when he left the Colts, he was definitely like bouncing around and on other teams. Point I'm making is this: JJ's future with the Texans, it really could be over for him as early as this offseason. I talked about like how it could be a possibility he was traded last week, but I also had to think about like how much of a PR move that would be, because this is JJ Watt. He's given the city like 10 good years. He has the softball game down there, down in Houston. He's also been a big part of like the hurricane relief when Harvey came through. So it's not just some player that that's sending away. It's JJ Watt. So definitely it's coming regardless. And I think probably the best time to really just send him away is trade him in the offseason. See if somebody's willing to pick up his contract, if that's the case. And probably it could be somebody. It could be like, of course, everybody's favorite team to throw around in this type of mess, the Patriots. Who knows? Who knows what teams are going to be doing to like kind of clear out cap space and all this other stuff, just to bring him on, just help their team like get over the hump or just get into a championship. So it's coming regardless of whether fans like it or not. But I think a lot of it is just like figuring out the financial part of it. He has a cap hit of like 17.5 million next season, so it'll come slow, but I still think somebody's willing to take that tab, and just if it means that they can get him on like a if they can get their team over the hump. And the thing about it too is like a lot of these like contending teams, especially the ones right now, some of their defenses are they kind of need a little bit of help. Kansas City's defense, they do all right, but they can still use some extra help. Same thing with well, I would say the Patriots. They need a lot. They're not really contending, but they just need a lot of help. But even with Seattle, Seattle made a trade the other day for Carlos Dunlap, but they could probably still use some help next season, depending on how they actually depending on what their plans are for like revamping their defense. Because right now their defense is kind of shoddy, even though Russell Wilson's playing out of his mind. So. There's a place for J.J. Watt after the Houston Texans. There's no doubt about that. So it's just that his future with the team is really looking like it's counting down pretty quickly. So that's what I got to say about that. Other big news. So COVID. COVID hit the Texans. Jacob Martin tests positive for COVID. Dylan Cole and Whitney Merciless, they're out this weekend as well due to contact tracing. So, hopefully those guys, everybody's being well. They're taking care of themselves. They're quarantining and their families are okay as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really no joke at all. Even with that, I don't really have a lot to speak on about that. I know COVID is like with the NFL. When I first saw the news of the outbreak with Tennessee, I was like, damn, I would hate for them to have to cancel the season, But if it's starting like this, then they might do something. And at the time with Tennessee, it was like just chaos everywhere because. It was the whole team. Then, they started canceling games and all this other stuff. And then it seemed to die down for maybe 1 week. Then Cam Newton got it. Then, this other player got it. And so on and so on. And now, today I saw there were other, players from different teams, that actually got, that actually contracted COVID or that had to sit players out because of this contact tracing. So, as far as with the Texans, man, they had to shut down their facilities. They're still going to go play on Sunday. So just wishing everybody good health and a speedy recovery and everything. It's just because regardless of what game this is or what sport, regardless of the sport or anything, this is nothing to really just be playing with. And regardless of the sport or profession, there's nothing to be playing with. Guys, they just got to take care of themselves, wear a mask on the sidelines, wherever. So hopefully those guys pull through, for real. So with that being said, I am going to get into some of these. I'm getting a couple of suggestions or things that Texans got to do to win this weekend. So they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars rematch from Week 5, and hey, it was probably the Texans' best game for the simple fact that they won the game. However, there were a couple of hiccups that they had in that game, but overall, it was just a superb. It was just a superb performance, if that makes sense. Hell, even our running game was pretty tight. I think David Johnson had 96 rushing yards on that day, highest of the season so far at that point. And so it was just it's just a real it was just a real solid performance. So a couple things Texas need to do, or a few things Texas need to do to kind of win this game. So one, they need to show improvement from the first game. Like I said, it wasn't so much that that they just won the game, but they gave up a couple of big plays. They made a few mistakes. I think Watson had a interception off a tipped pass and everything. So it's those things that they couldn't. It's those things that they kind of gotta eliminate. Um, Basically. So if they can show improvement from that those little mistakes are gone, and they're actually playing more effectively, more efficiently, then they should be good to go. Second thing, do not overlook the Jaguars situation. So the Jaguars, they're back. They started off good in the season. Now they're back to being the Jaguars. So they could be. It's a myriad of things. They could be tanking. They could be trying to win but failing to do so. You know how it goes with Jacksonville. So that whole situation is kind of. And they're starting a rookie quarterback, Jake Luton. I believe his name is that. I don't want to screw that up. Yes, Jake Luton. And so I was So I mean, they got a new quarterback. They got a new quarterback in there. He's just a rookie quarterback. So it's like, they got a rookie quarterback in here. So it's a field day for the defense, basically. Like it has to be. He's making his first start and everything. So there you go with that positive for the defensive line too. That can probably help them get back on track for what they help them get back on track and get some production out of them as well, more production out of them. Jaguars, given that they have a rookie quarterback, they might rely more on their running game. So Texans still struggle against the run. Hopefully. Actually, against in the last game, they actually held, I believe his name is James Thompson. They actually held him down. They actually held him like 48 yards, and he was kind of a little bit balling out in previous games. But he's actually coming off a 100-yard game, so kind of watch out for that. Just make sure he doesn't try to go for a second straight 100-yard game and all that stuff. So they'll have to just really buckle down on stopping the run. Texans cannot downplay this rivalry. They can't just downplay it as like, oh, Jaguars, they doing what God knows whatever. They screwing up once again. We can just, it's nothing. No, like Texans, you are 1-6. Jaguars, they 1-6. Like, get in here and start, start busting them in their mouth. And I mean, listen, if these guys want to, let me see. I was right. Anyway, no, I was just checking on my Dwight Freeney thing. Yeah, he was in that game. So anyway, back to this. So cannot downplay this. Cannot downplay this rivalry at all. You got to hit them in the mouth. You really got to just bring it to them. Last thing, Texans have to want to win this game. So I know the season is like bleak right now. Everything's falling apart. Everybody's mad and all this stuff. But the thing about it is, it's still very early in the season. And so if you want to get a win and start a run, you can do that. You 1-6 right now. So, get you. I'm not saying you're going to do 9 straight and hit 10-6. I'm saying you could probably get like 5, maybe 4 or 5, and just get you in the mix for everything. Because this year there is the extra playoff spot, and it's kind of a predicament. Texans kind of got themselves in a predicament because it's like do they really want to make the playoffs and get beat by possibly get beat by somebody that's been really fighting to get in the playoffs, or do they just want to like kind of take, or do they just kind of want to like just take it a game by game and just see what they got on the shelf and see what they can dish out in the off season. I personally think they should like go ahead and just fight for the rest of the season until they're just out of the playoffs. And I mean, it might take them well into December considering the extra playoff spot. But who's to say this win, doesn't inspire them to do, a little bit more as far as like fighting for the playoffs. So yeah, and I mean, even if they do that, it'll probably look good for like, the GM and new coach that's coming in to be like, I kind of want to, keep this person around, keep that person around, based off the way they were playing in November. So definitely want to see if they can like pick that win up and just get things going. And also, last thing, week 5 was matchup. That was the best game of the season, pretty much. I mean, we got the win, and I said they made like some mistakes, but even that they made like bigger plays overall. So definitely want to, definitely want to just win. They have to want to win this game. So what Texans got to do? Show improvement from the first game. Don't overlook the Jaguars' current messy situation, and just want to win this game. So that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for brandonsimmons.biz. Subscribe to this YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this on Facebook, probably is fake. Anyway, if you're watching this on Facebook, visit facebook.com/BrandonBlog. Click on my page, send a like to it, and watch out for all the content I got going. So that being said, holla black.